Hi everyone, I'm Carol Keller, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Illinois, and I have for you today 3 alternative cards to this month's paper pumpkin kit, which is called Hearts for You. I hope you like them. I'm going to turn my camera around right away so that we can get started. Here is a picture of the kit. It is called Hearts for You, like I said. Comes with a real red ink spot, and I realized by accident, not intentionally, but by accident wore a red shirt, although it's more Cherry Cobbler or Mary Merlot than it is real red. These are the cards if you make them as they come in the kit, according to the instructions. Always double check to make sure you have everything you need. And if you don't, reach out to Stampin' Up! And they will send you what's missing. They also show the companion dies. They are called Spring is in the Air dies. And we will be using that beautiful big heart for the cards today. And remember that the dies coordinate with the January, February, and March kits. So you get a little more bang for your buck there. And then this is a picture of the stamps. So some sentiments, you have my heart, love, and you, celebrate love. You're my favorite, I like that. And then some hearts and a little leaf stamp. And we will get started with the first card. Okay, here is the first card for today. And again, using those wonderful dies, and something I don't usually do, sorry, I got little spots on it. Something I don't usually do is use the card base as it comes, but in this case I did use one of them, but with a different design. Let me pull the flyer again so I can show you what it's supposed to look like if you make it the way it comes in the kit, which is this. And there are rows of hearts that you put on, and it's a really pretty card, but it's very subtle. I'm not sure if you can see the little outline of hearts that correspond to those rows, but I felt like even with dimensionals, you would kind of lose what was there and you wouldn't see those hearts. So I wanted them to show a little more, so I designed a different card to go with this card base, and this is it. So I'm starting with, again, one of the card bases from the kit. Again, I've got little pieces of things on there for some reason. And then what I did was cut out the die from one of the other card bases from the back of it. Again, I got glue, I've got stuff everywhere. So this is what it cuts out, the heart and the outline both in one pass from the die. And then I cut this out. And this one comes from the heart-shaped stamp set that is a Sale-a-Bration item. It actually comes from the dies, excuse me, it comes from the dies that come with that. And I did put an adhesive sheet on the back so that it will make it easier to adhere to the card. And I will say I should have also done that with the card base from the kit, which I did not do because now I've got to use glue to put this down. So I would recommend putting an adhesive sheet on the back. And even though you won't be using with the heart, it will make it easier to place this. So you'll then have to use baby powder or something to get the adhesive off of this because we're gonna bump it up with dimensionals. Or if that's too much, then just do what I'm doing and use glue for this piece. Either way works. But I cut one of the other card bases in half, and so this is what I cut. Again, one pass creates both of those hearts. And there's enough room actually then to do another one. Let's see. Or there was when I did the first one. This one actually won't fit. So be very conscious of that. Probably it has to be more this way. Yes, more straight up and down. And then that will give you plenty of room. So another tip to make another one. I already cut all 3 of mine, so I'm good because there are 3 card bases. So if that's what you need is a 3 of each to complete the cards the way I've done them. So, but do keep that in mind. Keep them more straight up and down. All right, so now all we have to do is put them on the card. So like I said, well, and actually we'll do our stamping first because we're going to need to stamp this anyway. And on this card, I stamped Love You. And then on the inside, I did My Thoughts of You Are All Heart-Shaped. And I decided that would be really nice to put on the front since there are 3 different hearts on there. So we're going to use that one today. And again, that's a sentiment from the kit. And I'm going to grab my Flirty Flamingo ink pad because that's what the color is here. And I originally thought the card bases were petal pink, but I'm not sure if they are, again, because it's so subtle and so hard to see. I think the Flirty Flamingo works too, so it could be either one. All right, so we're gonna ink that. And it is pretty subtle, so you could also do it in black, but I'm gonna do it, I wanted it to be softer. And so that's why I used the Flirty Flamingo. Let me see, maybe we'll put the little heart down there too. This also comes with the kit. Oh, I like that. And then on the inside, we'll put the Love You, since I have it all mounted. It's two separate stamps, as I showed you in the picture, but I mounted them together, and then I did a test run to make sure they were straight. And of course, on the inside, it's easier to see. We're gonna grab that heart again, or maybe actually we're gonna grab a different one. And this also comes with the kit. And it's just a little outline. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the envelope. So our stamping on the inside is done. And we'll stamp one right here. And if you wanted to, you could do another one on the back. And that is all of our stamping. I'm going to grab my bone folder, make this nice and flat. And then it's just assembly. So like I said, I'm going to get my glue, my multi-purpose liquid glue, and just put some really small dots all the way around. And I paid attention to both of the kind of corners or edges. And then we'll put that on the card front at an angle. And I did notice when I did the first one, I had some glue here, so I used my glue eraser because it kind of leaked out a little bit or got on my fingers or something, and then on the card. So that's an easy fix. And then I'm going to peel off the backing. And again, I used, this was just Flirty Flamingo cardstock that I used to make the hearts, because I didn't feel like, well, I didn't feel like I had enough room on the card base to make this, to cut this in addition to those. And also I felt it would get lost anyway since it's such small detail. Let's get the last couple pieces. And then we're going to put this one at the opposite angle here, and just kind of just follow it along, start from one spot and follow it along, and that will get it to lie the way it's supposed to and be nice and heart-shaped. Burnish it with your finger so that the glue catches. And then for this, we're going to use dimensionals, and there are some that come with the kit. And I actually use the edges, which is why they're gone, because it was fewer dimensionals to put on. So you can do that as well. We always use every part of the dimensionals. And then I'll take the paper off, and then we put that in the middle. And then there are embellishments that come with the kit, these pretty little hearts. And I only used one, so that if you are making the cards the way they come in the kit, there would only be 2 extras, but one of them has, I think, 5 hearts on one card, or on each of that one design, which you would use 15 then. So if it were me, I would probably bump it down to 3, just so I would have extras to use on other cards. So just keep that in mind. And there I put the heart and the O for the U, and this time I think I'm going to put it in that heart that I stamped right down here. So little heart extravaganza. Aren't these pretty though? Oh, so pretty. And they do look like they're Flirty Flamingo also, so that matches nicely, of course, with the card. And that's card number 1, but let me show you the dies that I use. I'll show you the stamp set too, just so that you can see it. But this is the heart-shaped because they come as a bundle. This is a heart-shaped stamp set. Oh, and that's where that came from. My thoughts of you are all heart-shaped because I had used the ones from the kit. And then when I saw this, I forgot about that. When I saw this, I thought, oh my gosh, that goes so perfectly. And so that's why I put it on the inside. And that's why I decided to put it on the outside this time for this card. These are the companion dies. Whoops. So again, I use the heart, but there are, this cuts out those flowers. And then there's another flower stem. We're gonna use the sentiment die also. And then some leaves. So those are available just during Sale-a-Bration. So for a $120 merchandise order, you can choose this bundle. I've seen so many cute cards made with it. But there is card number 1. This is my second card. And again, I cut apart another card base, this one right here, obviously, and use the backs so that, like I said, if you wanted to, you could still use the front for the card and to make it the way it comes in the kit. And that's the same thing with the Flirty Flamingo card base. So the only card bases we used, all of them were for that previous card. Anyway, let's get started. So for this card, I took, like I said, the part of the card base, and I'm going to bring out my supplies just so I have them and I can show you what I did. Here's how to do it. I took the die and I put it pretty close. Oh, before I did that, I put an adhesive sheet on the back. And that's because I knew that some of these were coming really close to the edge and I really wanted to make sure there was adhesive there so that they wouldn't pull up or tear or anything. So I cut out the first set of hearts from here, and then that gives me this. And then there's obviously a little chunk cut out, and then I cut out these. I cut out another set from here, and so you see there's a little bite, and that's okay because you can see how it lines up. But what I'm going to tell you is not to lose these because we are actually going to use these on the last card. So put those aside for the moment. We'll put the die back and we'll move this over here for right now. We'll move these aside because what I'm going to do is take my card base, and this is just a regular basic white card base. For the last card, we're actually going to use a thick basic white card base. For this one, this is just a regular one. And then I'm going to take the adhesive sheet off the back as carefully as I can. And actually, of course, where are the little, I put one on this end and then I put one on this end. So there's a little bit of space in the middle because the card base is 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2. But the strips are 2 inches, so there's a little bit of space on each end because it's hard to get it close to the edge, and then the rest of the space is in the middle. So actually down at that bottom there really isn't any adhesive, but I think because it covers all of the rest, it's still going to help hold it in place. And now this is, to me, the trickiest part of the whole card, is making sure it lines up on the first go. So I'm going to start at one end and hopefully I can do it, because once it's down with those adhesive sheets. So it is just a little bit, there's a little bit, oh, not too bad though, on each end. Kind of all the way around you can see a little bit of white, but I think that looks okay. It's almost like a little mat. And again, you're going to burnish so it's held into place. And then I'm just going to take the adhesive sheets off of the back of the hearts. We'll say once you prep everything, these cards go together really quickly, which is nice. And then I just placed it here with an even border, hopefully all the way around. And then the same thing with this one. Peel off the backing. And so then it gets placed this way. and paying attention to kind of making it the same width there. All right, I think that's pretty good. And then we're gonna burnish these. Isn't that pretty though? I was gonna do one heart actually, and then I got the idea to do the 2 overlapping ones, and I have to say I was really happy with the result. So I hope you like it too. So we're gonna move that aside for just a minute. And then this does come with the kit, Celebrate Love. And there's another sentiment, you're my favorite, I think it says. I really wanted to put that in this label, but it didn't fit. So we went with Celebrate Love. So I'm gonna grab my Real Red ink pad. I just think the red and the white are just so pretty together. Ink that up, and let's see if we can get this on the first go. Took me 2 tries for the other one. Make sure it's straight. All right, pretty good. It's a little bit off, but I think it's okay. Close enough. And then for the inside, my thoughts of you are all heart-shaped, but I think I'm going to change it. I am going to use Happy Valentine's Day, because I use that on the next card, because I think Celebrate Love kind of goes with the Valentine's Day theme, and I was feeling like they didn't go together, those 2 sentiments, as nicely as I liked. But you can also use Celebrate Love. It would make a great wedding card. So congratulations or Happy Wedding Day would also work on the inside. But we'll use Happy Valentine's Day. And this comes from the Be My Valentine stamp set. Since there wasn't a Happy Valentine sentiment in the kit. And I'm sure that's partly because there are Happy Valentine sentiments in previous January kits. So check your stash, you may have it even with your previous paper pumpkin kits. And then I think I did a heart. Yes, I love that little heart. So we're gonna do that again, except this time in Real Red. I love just putting it at an angle like that. And then the same thing with the envelope. So we'll move that aside. And we'll do the same thing we did on the last card. Make sure it's right side up. And do one on the back, sealed with a little heart. And so that's the envelope, and we're done with our stamping. Gonna leave that handy because we'll need it for the next card, but I want to close it so we don't have any disasters. And then for this, I just used my Stampin' Seal. There are glue dots that come with the kit, so you could use that also. And then we'll put it here. I thought about putting it more in the middle, but I didn't want to lose that design, so we'll put it down here. Make sure it's straight. Hopefully that is. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Burnish that a little bit. And then last, I decorated with the pearls because I really wanted something that stood out from the red card base. So I'm using the Iridescent Pearls Basic Jewels, and this is the end of a pack, so that's why I used the small ones, just to try to use them up. There are actually 2 sizes. So here's my brand new pack, and so you could use a mixture of them if you wanted to, but I just decided I wanted to use up what I have, so that's what I'm going to do. And I just scattered them to draw your eye around the card. And there we have it. That is the second card. And let me show you that Be Mine stamp set that is in the annual catalog. And so I use the Happy Valentine's Day. And so obviously there are other sentiment. You Make My Heart Buzz would be a good one too, but I probably, if I did that, I'd use the B as well. And I was kind of going with simple this month. Like I said, this is kind of clean lines, and I hope you like it because I was really happy with the result. And so that is the second card. And here is the third and last card that I made today. And again, another clean and simple one. It's really simple for me. I had a hard time. You know, it looks more like simple stamping, except that we used dyes, we used yarn, twine. So It's not really simple stamping, but it's very clean lines. And for me, I like a little bit more, I don't know, razzle dazzle, oomph, whatever you want to call it. But I really was happy with the result of this too. So this time I'm starting, like I said earlier, with a thick basic white card base because there's very little in embellishment, in the way of embellishments on the card. Another thing you could do, which really didn't occur to me until right now, is you could use basic white and then cut a piece the same size as the card front, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and emboss it. Maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll try that for this one. All right, let me emboss a piece. Stay tuned. All right, so now I've switched to a regular thickness card base, just a regular basic white card base. And I embossed a piece of basic white cardstock. Again, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, same size as the card front. And I embossed it with the Painted Textures embossing folder. So I love it. All right, we're gonna put some multi-purpose liquid glue on the back since it is the same size as the card front. And it is just a smidge shorter. Sometimes I find that with the basic white, you can see it's a little longer there, so I'm going to trim that off, but I'll do it off camera. So let me take care of that. All right, so I've got that. And then I have those hearts that we cut out for the previous card. Same thing, there's still adhesive sheets on the back. And let's see how we want to do this. I think we'll take the adhesive sheets off because we're going to be tying some twine around one part. So I'm going to lay it here but not burnish it. And I will say, when I did the first card, I had it first on regular basic white and I realized it wasn't thick enough. Oh, and it was positioned wrong. So then I picked it up, repositioned it. Then I decided I wanted to put it on thick white. So I may even need to add some glue, although it's doing pretty well, I would say, for the most part. I was afraid because this is the third time it got laid down. And so the same thing, I may have to move this because it fits definitely in a specific way. So I think it's here. Yeah, see, that will overlap off the card. So we're gonna flip it a little bit this way. I want it tilted at an angle, but I also want both of these to fit. So let's see. It's like a little jigsaw puzzle. Yeah, that will work. Okay, that will work. They will fit. So I'm going to take my twine. It comes with the kit. And I'm just going to tie a bow before I really burnish that heart down. All right, we're gonna go with that. I think that's pretty good. Sometimes it takes 2 tries. And then I'm gonna place this one. Hopefully, again, I can find the right spot, because I know it fits. I think it's up more. And then, you know, again, if you feed it around, in theory, it should meet up where it's supposed to. I think is here. Let's see. Yeah. Yes. So, and you can pay a little more attention. Like if I paid attention to, oh, I cut it at the notch between the second and third ones, and at the second one here, just reposition this a little bit, then that makes it easier, but I did it yesterday, so I did not do that. All right, so now we're gonna give everything a really good burnish, especially because on this one, there's the twine underneath, and because of the embossing folder. So And let's see, now that I've committed to this, maybe I should have stamped first. Let's see, because now it's obviously textured, so that may present some problems. Let's see. All right, we're gonna go a different way. If you do want to use this, one way to do it is to stamp first and then emboss. But since I didn't do that, I am going to use a label on it. Another thing to do is to go back to the thick white card base and then do your stamping. You have My Heart comes from the kit, and the little hearts come from that Be My Valentine stamp set. And then these hearts come from the kit. So for this one, I think what I'm gonna do, we may even do 3 variations. I may try one with that embossing folder and stamp first. So let's see. But we're gonna use You're My Favorite because I was wanting to use this one and I haven't yet. So I'm gonna use this punch. And what we're gonna do is I cut it at 3/4 of an inch. I wanted to only do a 1/2 inch, but the problem was the sentiment is a little bit wider than that and it won't work. So we're gonna use 3/4 of an inch because I really don't want to cover up too much if I don't have to. But we're gonna stamp You're My Favorite. Oh, this will fit nicely here. Let's hope I can get it straight. Let's see, can we flip it over? I think we can. Let's try it one more time and then see which one we like best. Pretty similar, I think. This one's a little better. We'll use this side. All right, and because we use this side, I'm gonna grab my bone folder. It kind of has ridges. We're gonna flatten those out with the bone folder so that nobody will know we flipped it over. And I am going to probably ink the edges. Well, I know I'm going to, because I think my original thought was to do then a 1/2 inch wide for the sentiment and 3/4 of an inch in real red and mat them. But I'm afraid it's going to cover too much. We're going to try it both ways though. But before I do that, I'm going to grab my pencil, and I saved this little piece that we cut off on purpose because I don't want much of a border. This is going to show me where to put it in the punch. So the border on each side is about the same. So if I mark it here on the outside of that little piece, that shows me where to cut it so that when I put it in my punch, I will have the same border on each side. So let's do that. And it goes in right here again. And that should be good. Let's see. Yes, and this one does look better. All right, and nobody will know we made a mistake on the other side. So I'm gonna cut a piece of real red to see what that looks like. And what we're gonna do is prep it and then see if it's going to work, because I think that's the only way we're gonna know. So we need to save that again. And lay it like this. So I think maybe I am gonna like that. That is gonna work. So we need this much of a border. Grab my pencil again. Mark it on the outside and cut it. And then put it in. We always want to make sure it's straight. That's why I look and turn it over and look so that it's straight, because that could be a problem if it's not, and sometimes it does turn in there. So I'm not going to adhere them together. Just gonna lay them out. Oh yeah. All right, I think I like that. I think I'm gonna do that. So we will go with that, because I felt like certainly if we did just the white, I would have to ink around the edges or something. And I'm gonna grab my bone folder one more time, as inking the edges would hide the fact that we turned it over as well. But since I'm not doing that, we want to make those disappear. And I'm going to grab my seal. And then adhere them together. How does that look? Yeah, that's good. And then we're just gonna lay it here. I won't bump it up or anything because I want those hearts to take prominence a little bit. But we're gonna put seal all the way across so that it adheres. Yeah, that's not bad. And then the inside, what did I do? I think I did Happy Valentine's Day and want the little hearts again from the Be My Valentine stamp set. Let's see. Let's see what we'll do this time. I think we'll do You Have My Heart. I really like that one too. So we'll do that on the inside this time. I think this might be my husband's anniversary card. Even though our anniversary is not till July, I'm thinking. And then we're gonna do the heart here again. And the same thing on the envelope. So that's done. And I think I am gonna try. I wanna see what it looks like so that I can show you. I'm going to, let's see, it'll be a little more challenging because we would have to measure out where the, I think we're gonna leave it. I think it's either or, because what I was thinking was I was gonna stamp and then run it through the embossing folder and then put the hearts on, but the hearts need to be placed so you know where to stamp. So I think it's either option. But before we finish this one, because it isn't quite finished yet, we are going to put on some bling. So this time I used the Rhinestone Basic Jewels, but you can see they're not clear, they're colored, and that's because I used my dark Real Red Stampin' Blend, and I just colored a few. I think I colored one in each size, so we'll do this. And I did it pretty quickly last night when I was working on these, so this time I think I'm going to do a second coating because I didn't do that. I mean, it still looks good. And you could do 3, you could do 5, but yeah, I think we'll add a little more color. And the nice thing is they dry very quickly. I put them on pretty much immediately. Let me grab my Take Your Pick tool. And then we'll do the same thing. Let's see, maybe we even want 5 this time. I don't know, let's see. Because I will say too, when I first designed the card, see, nothing on my finger. I only stamped here and I knew I was gonna put bling, but I didn't have anything here and it was just too plain for me. Like you know, I'm a stepped up kind of girl, so that was why. We'll do this, we'll do the same thing. That was why I added those hearts in there. This one here. Yeah, I think that's good like that. I think with the 3, I like that. But again, if you like more, you can just color more and pop them on there. All right, so those are both variations of card number 3. So just take your pick, take what you like better. And if you want to, you can experiment with, you know, once you cut out the hearts, if you really want to try, if you really like the stamping, but also with the embossing, is lay the heart out. I would say that's your best bet, is lay the heart out, make sure they're both gonna fit, but don't peel the backing off of them. Do your stamping in both of them, in both of the hearts, then take the hearts off, run the piece of cardstock through your embossing folder, and then place the heart back on, or both hearts back on, and give them a good burnish, and then see what you think. You know, I was worried too that if I did it, because this is so thick in some spots and so thin in others, that there's a big height difference between some of these areas of the embossing, that it would kind of goof up the stamping, that the sentiment would be a little wonky, or not crooked, but you know what I mean. So anyway, I'm going to go with these two. I'm very wordy today. I apologize. But I do like the way both of them turned out. I hope you do too. I do like that embossing folder. And then just to show you what I used, this, and I didn't name this before, this is the Happy Labels Pick-a-Punch. That's what we used for the sentiment on this card. The painted textures texture 3D embossing folder. I really love that, one of my favorites. And again, the Be My Valentine stamp set, which for this one, I used this and I think that was it. And then the Happy Valentine's Day on the inside, where for this one, we just used sentiments from the kit. And then the rhinestones I showed you. So I believe that's everything. So let me bring in the other cards. This was card number 2. These were the 2 versions. Here, we'll do this. 2 versions of card number 1, depending on which sentiment you like. And again, I realize that the stamping is very subtle of the sentiment, but I did that on purpose. If you don't like it, then and you want to use black, go ahead and do that. But even just the fact that this is subtle, it made sense to me to make the stamping more subtle too. But personal preference, that's up to you. But those are the cards, and I believe I've shown you everything that I use to make them. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate so much you watching every month. It means a lot to me when you leave me love in the comments, or I've seen some views on some of my other videos. That means a lot as well. Please leave comments on those too. I read all of them and respond to all of them as well. So I appreciate it. I have lots of other cards. I have scrapbook pages, which I've been getting into more now that we have that wonderful scrapbooking line. I have beginner videos, tips and techniques, home decor items. So hopefully a lot there for you to enjoy and find useful. So with that, I will sign off. Take care, everyone. I will see you soon. Happy stamping.